Just start with the screen. Okay, is my screen visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the last class, we were up to the editing of the staircase and the railings. Okay, so we'll continue with that. We were about to see how do we add the balusters in the railings, okay, or edit the balusters in the railings. Whiteboard. We just completed with the top rails actually, and we were supposed to start with this post, the start post, the end post, and the balusters and the bottom rails basically. So first we're going to go with the bottom rails. How do we edit the bottom rails? And then we'll go with the start post, the end post, and the baluster. Okay, so let's start. Search for that file wherever it was. I think that's the file. This class we were adding these handrails actually. Right. So now if I just normally create a staircase or with a railing, so I'm going to add a railing to the staircase. So I'm going to take places on stairs or ramps, and I'm going to select this stairs, and it automatically adds some railings. I'm going to delete one of the railing pipe. You could just keep one of the railings. And now this time I just wanted to add the bottom rails. So we have the top rail. We don't have the bottom rails over here being added. So I'm gonna click on the edit type, and I'm gonna duplicate the type of the railing. I'm gonna call this as 900 mm rails with bottom rails. So we change the name type to 900 mm rails with the bottom rails, and I can switch on the preview mode over here so that I can see what's really going to happen when I change the railing parameters. And the very first thing, I'm going to change the height of this top rail. It is currently 1100. We want it of 900, so I'm going to make that of 900 mm. I'm going to click on apply, and it's going to change the height of my railing. Then we need to add some bottom rails to it. So I'm going to come into this option which says railing, in bracket it says non-constructions basically, or non-continuous basically. Okay, so we're going to pick that rail structure, non-continuous, and we're going to click on the edit options basically. So when I come into the edit options, I get this another type dialog box where we don't have any of these profile being loaded in basically. So you can see it's all empty. So I'm going to insert a few of these profiles over here. So I'm going to click insert, and then I'm going to click on apply. So you can see a new, a rail, a bottom rail is been added, but it's very at the bottom basic within. Okay, so it's way to bottom. So I can select that rail, and I can get the height option over here. So maybe I can provide this at a certain height. Maybe I give it like 100 mm, and then you're going to click on apply. So you can see it moves a bit of 100 mm above. If you wanted to get that at 350, you can just type the height as 350, and it moves that bottom rail height to 350. You can also offset these rails on the other outer ends. So you can see it's currently in the center actually. So if I give an offset like I get like 30 offset, it's gonna like go inwards, and if I give like negative 30 it's gonna stick out basically there. So, and if I give offset of 0, it's gonna be right in the middle basically there. I can change the profile shape. So currently the profile shape is like look like a square shape basically there to me. We can change this profile shape. Maybe I want a circular profile, so I can take a circular profile. So it's going to come as 30 circle. If you want 40 circle, you can take it 40 circles. You can even add elliptical profiles, and there are various profiles that are there that you can add them basically there. Maybe you want a square profile, you can add a square profile as well. So here we go. We have one of these type being loaded. You can also apply the material to this bottom rails. So maybe you want to apply the material of aluminium or steel or any of the material that you wanted to apply to it. You can apply it. So if you can come into the material editor, and you can create your own material. So you come into create materials, click on it, click create material option, and a new material is being created, and we can come into the identity data, we can come into the names, we can take your dash, can get this material name as now steel, that's for the bottom rail, so we can get this as bottom rail, probably get that naming. You can also get the class categories over here, so we have the category of metals, so we'll apply metal, can provide the manufacturer name, the model number, the cost per unit that you're getting. In graphic information, you can add the user enter appearances. Cut pattern, I can take some pattern of cut, like diagonal cross or diagonal up basically there. Or I can take metal if I get somewhere. So we don't have it, so we can take this diagonal up way, use that as a cut pattern when you're cutting the metal basically there. The appearance view, that means the realistic view of how it's gonna look up. So maybe I want to give some polished material of metal, so you can come into the appearance library, gonna pick the metal categories over here. So we have a lot of metal categories like aluminium, you have brass, you have bronze, you have chrome, you have coating materials. So you can pick any one of these. So maybe I'm going to apply the chrome black basically. So pick that, got that, and apply this material. I'm going to click on OK, so that material has been assigned to that particularly bottom rail. I can insert one more bottom rail. So if I click one more time, insert and apply, you can see there's one more bottom rail being inserted at the bottom. And I can get that offset height of 450 apply to that, and also change this profile, maybe the same profile I can use it, square ones, apply to it. So we got two of them now basically there. So you can create your own pattern or design by keep on adding the profiles or the layers inside these. You can see that's the first layer or the second layer or the first layer basically. So that's the top order first layer, that's the bottom one, and you can change its heights and everything basically. So that's 250, one is on 450, both are the same profiles, same materials. Also we can apply the similar materials to both of the objects. Okay, then click on apply. Once again click on OK. Meantime, if I click on apply and click on OK, you'll see that we have these bottom rails being added in the railings. So earlier we were just having the top rails and the balusters, and now we have the bottom rails also being inserted in it. You can create your own profiles also of the bottom rails, and you can insert them as well. Generally, we have two profile shapes that can be inserted in the bottom rails. One is the square, or one is the circle, or one you can add the elliptical ones. Rest is all okay basically. There you can try the other ones basically. Right now, we wanted to even add the post or the balusters that we need to change basically. This we have this post over here, we have the start post, we have the end post, and we have these balusters basically there. So if you wanted to edit them basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna select this railing, come in the edit type, And now I'm going to come into this option which says baluster placement. You see, yeah, baluster placement options, and we can come into the edit option of balusters, and now we have a different tab open basically which says edit baluster placement, and now we have these two options over here. One is about the main pattern and the other one is about the post basically. So we'll come into the post option first, and then we'll go into the main patterns basically there. So now if I come into post, we have three layers in post basically there. So we have the start post, we have the corner post, and we have the end post basically. Okay, so generally the start post is right over here at the beginning of the railings. You have the start post. The end post is at the very end basically there. Now the corner post is generally when you have the railing that is continuous, and so for example, let me give you an example for this first. Let me just sketch. Oh, you can take this as an example. So we can have corner post over here. So you can see this railing is like going continuous. That can be your end post, and this can be your start post basically. So anything that railing is gonna be continuous and segment wise basically there. The middle segment is actually your corner post basically there. Okay, so just in case if I come into the level, and if I create a railing manually by taking the sketch command, and if I just sketch a railing like that, and hit on the finish mode, review. So these are my corner posts basically. So one and two, we have two corner posts, and we're gonna have one as the end post, and this is your start post basically. Okay, so remember the segments, the joining segments are your corner post basically. So you can edit the corner post, you can edit the start post, and you can also edit the end post as well. So if you want to edit them basically, then you need to select the railing, and you can come into the edit type parameters, and then you can come into the baluster uh, placement option, edit, and from here you can adjust them basically. So over here, what we have, if I come into start post basically, I can change the family over here. So currently the start post is of square post basically, which is 25 mm thick. If I wanted to make it as a rounded post basically, this I can say round 25 mm. And now if I apply this basically, then what's going to happen is that the post type is going to change from square to rounded one basically. You can see that profile changes only at the beginning basically, it doesn't change at the end. So maybe at the end also you want to change the type of the post, you can change the type of the post as well. Maybe again if I take the rounded 25 mm, apply it basically there, as you can see on both the ends we're gonna have the rounded post instead of square post now. Okay, but in the corners you can see they are still square post. So if you want to change that as well, so you can come to the edit type, baluster placements, and you can also change for the corner post as well. Rounded ones, once again apply them and click on OK, apply and click on OK. Right, so we have these post shapes ready. We can create our own post balusters as well. Okay, so if you want to create your post baluster families, you can create our own as well. So I'll take an example from the internet to create a post balusters. You can create something, these kind of post balusters shapes basically, something like that. Okay, so let us try to create these ones. So I'll create this family. So to create that post baluster family, I'm gonna come into the file menu, take the new option, take family command, and from the select family templates, I'm going to go into the English folder. And from here, I'm going to pick the metric baluster post basically, or just the balusters. Here we have baluster post, metric baluster post dot RFP family. Okay. If I want to create my main pattern, I can take the baluster over here, metric baluster. And if I want to create a glass panel basically there in the main pattern, I'll take this metric baluster dash panel basically. Okay, so I'm going to pick the metric baluster dash post because we are creating the post family, and I'm going to click on open over here. So we already get the family template ready. We have the baluster height, which is already predefined it as 750. That's your top offset height that you can pick basically. Right. If you look at this shape, is almost like a square shape basically, and you have these profiles that are running on the top basically. Okay, so I'm going to create a little bit parametric baluster post basically there. So I'm going to jump into my floor plan view first, and over here right in the middle, I'm going to create a square shape. So go into the create tab, pick the forms as solid extrusion form, and to create a rectangular shape right in the middle over here. Okay, and I'm going to give certain parameters to this sketch shape that I've created. So I'm going to take the align dimension tool, select this sketch line, the middle center reference line, and the last sketch line. Dimension text are coming way too big, so I'm going to reduce down the scale. I'm going to make this as equal parameter. Once again, same on the other ends. I'm going to select the sketch line, the middle reference line, the other sketch line, and I'm going to pick that as equal, apply. Select both of these dimensions and label that dimension as the post size, post square size. I'm going to keep it as type parameter and click on OK. Right, which we can change the post size, which is currently 28 mm, which I'm going to make it a little bit more thicker, maybe 3 mm thick, or maybe 75 mm thicker. Okay, so you can see we can have a change in the size, and then I'm going to click on the apply finish mode, apply that. So we got that square shape ready. We can gonna come into the front elevation view, and you can see it's not completely hitting that plane, so I'm going to drag this all the way till the top and lock this line. It locks with the post or the baluster height actually. So that's the height of the baluster. Then we have a little bit extension as well, and we have to stop some design form basically there, which we can create them. So I can extend this all the way till your, or maybe I can give a parameter. Call this as extending height. Maybe I'll give a round circular object on the top of it. Maybe a square on it. Once again, I'm going to go back to my reference plan level. I'm going to create another extrusion form, solid extrusion form. Rectangle shape. I'm going to give an offset over here of offset. dimensions to these. Select these dimensions, label them, offsets, and run the finish mode. Come into the left elevation view, select the bottom, so you can drag this all the way to the top end, lock it up to here, I can lock this line up to here. Okay. Maybe I can just drag this a little bit below. Something below this much height. Okay, and then we need to create the other top as well. I'm going to lock this lines. We can provide this as a dimension. Try to fix this length basically there. So if you look into your 3D view, that's how it's going to look up right now. And it looks pretty okay. It's not that detailed basically. That maybe I want to add these kind of profiles around these shapes basically here. So once again, I'm going to come into the front or the left elevation views. It come some couple of reference plane over here. I can name this reference plane like uh, sort of molding designs, molding pattern plane. This plane has been renamed as molding pattern plane. I'm going to keep it at 609, but maybe I'm going to put it at 619 actually. Oops. And I'll come back to my reference floor plan. And this time I'm going to take the grade tool as solid sweep. But before I take the solid sweep command, I'm going to set my work plane as not the reference plane, but the molding pattern reference plane. Click on OK. Now I'm going to take the solid sweep command and I'm going to sketch a path. So the rectangle shape once again, and I'm going to just draw that whole shape of square. Lock these lines. Finish the mode. And then I'll just go and say edit the profile, and I'll edit the profile through the left elevation view. And I'm going to just draw that shape of molding design shape. Okay, so I'm just going to sketch this a little bit roughly over here. careful. Quickly add some editing arcs. So small actually. And so maybe that's the profile shape design. I will mirror it on the other end. It's very tiny profile actually I've created. Try to finish this off. One time we click on finish mode. And now if I look in my 3D view, you can see that shape of design being added around that post. Okay, so we have created that shape of design. Then if you want to make the other profile designs basically, or maybe the level design, we can
So
add
the
them as well.
shape of
Yeah,
that design was you used sweep, right? The
yeah, I
sweep
use
command.
solid shape for that. I'll show you again. I'll just do it at the bottom as well, just like I did it on the top. So let me add that one in the bottom as well. So first, I'm going to come in the left elevation view, and I'm going to create a reference plane over here first. Right, and take this line, put it back level actually. Or later on, you can give the dimensions. I'll select that reference plane. I'll name this reference plane as bottom um, molding pattern plane. So we can easily pick that plane with through that name, and we can create a sweep object on. So I'll jump back to my floor plan, and I'm gonna hide this molding sweep which was earlier created. So I'm gonna come into the switch and hide that element so that I don't get distracted with an existing molding that is there already. Now I'll come into the create tab, and before I take the solid sweep command, I'm gonna set my work plane first. Once the work plane is setted to the bottom molding pattern reference plane and click on OK. Now you can pick the solid sweep command. Okay. So in the sweep first, we'll sketch the path. Okay, so we'll take the sketch path command, and I'm going to draw the rectangular shape starting from that endpoint to all the way to this endpoint. Make sure that you lock these lines so that just in case if you change the size of the baluster post, even your pattern of the molding also increases or decreases basically. Okay, and I'm going to hit on the finish mode when you're complete with the path. Once the path has been completed, we wanted to create the profile, so I'll click on edit profile. So when I click on the edit profile mode, it will tell me that you can't create a profile in the plan view. You need to be either there in your left elevation view or the right elevation view or one of your 3D view basically. So I'll pick the left elevation view and click on open with, and you can see it's marking over there, and now I can quickly draw the shape of the profile that I wanted to basically there. So I'm gonna once again take a very rough sketch of that profile design, and like that you can fill it them basically if you wanted to give this curves a little bit, of arcs. And I'm gonna mirror it on the other end as well, so mirror tool bottom end. And you can hit on the finish mode to complete the profile shape. So the profile is ready, the path is ready. Now I can hit one more time to finish complete modeling process. And here we go. We got that specified design shape ready. And if you look into your 3D view, we have that shape of designs. If I switch this to realistic mode, none of these objects have material yet. So if you wanted to, assign some materials to the objects, basically there we can assign materials as well. So maybe I can, select these post um, elements, or maybe all of these together and assign a single material to all of these elements. Or maybe if you want to assign molding as a different material and the whole uh, post as a different material, you can do that as well. So I can come into the material options and assign a new material. Post material, it's going to be of wood. So try wood. You can give the class category as wood. You can provide the product information like the manufacturer name, the cost, the model number of the wood or any laminates that's going to be on the top of it basically. And as a graphic appearance, I'm going to use render appearance. And in the surface pattern, I can take it as wood, but I don't have it, so I'm going to leave it as it is. Cut pattern, we can take it like a bit of title up basically there like that. Appearances, you can take the appearance library of keywords, lot of it. Get any one of these. For a temporary beam, I'm going to just use these cherry glossy one. Click on apply and click on OK. And when I switch this to realistic mode, you'll find that material is being assigned to that object. It's shiny, it's good. I can once again, select all these elements, and for the material, I can also create an associate family parameter also, so that in the future in project, if I wanted to change the material of the post, I don't have to come back into the family editor and edit the post. So I'm going to click on associate family parameters. Click on create a new parameter for it. Name this as post material. Keep it under the type parameter and click on OK. And one more time OK, so we get an equal sign, which means the material parameter is being assigned. And it's very simple post that I've created, nothing much fancy in it. Okay, so I'm gonna save this family now, also save as family, and it will ask you where do you want to save this family and which location. So I'm gonna save it on my desktop folder. I'm gonna name this family as post baluster square shape. Square, right? And on the save button, so you should remember the name of the family. So it's called as post baluster square. And then I can take this option says load into project and close or load into project. So I'm going to pick on the load into project option from here. So clicking on it, load into project. So now that baluster family is being loaded into this project, which was running in the background. Now I can select the railings, come into the edit types, and when I switch into the baluster placement edit options and come and take the start post, you can see there's an option written over here that choose your baluster family over here. And currently we have chosen as baluster 25 rounded ones. So now we can pick the one that we have created. So on the start, I have picked the post baluster. If I click on apply, you'll see that there is a change in it. And now if I click on OK, apply and OK, you'll see that it's been, we can see that in the start post, but not in the end basically because we did it. And there is like this little problem. You can see that post height is like okay, 750 it was basically there. So as you can see over here, we have defined as that height is 750. It should be as 900. So that's not a problem. We can change the baluster height in the project only. So if I come into project browser and search for families, so in the project browser list, under the families, the search for balusters, we have columns, we have doors, we have stairs, roofing should be there, annotations, rectangle. Okay, we go into railings, and here we go. We have in the railings, not in the balusters, but here we have that post baluster square. We can double tap it on it, and when I double tap it, a dialog box will open up, and from here we can change it. No, we don't have an option. So we did not create the parameter for that. Maybe I can extend the height. Nothing much I can change over here except for the square size. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to go back into the families and come back into lift elevation view. That's the baluster height, family editor, which is already predefined. Okay, change. We can edit them from here. We can tell that we want it of 900s. Apply. Okay, so now we can see the change happening. Save the family once again. Load into projects. You can change. Okay, so the post option was unticked. That's why it was not taking it. So you need to make sure that the family type is as post, otherwise it won't change. And now you can see that's gone up just fine, and we got that post baluster ready for the start. Similarly at the end, so we can select the railings, edit types, and coming to baluster placements, pick the end post, pick the similar one, apply to it, click on OK, apply, and OK. So we have the end as well. Maybe you want it at the corners. Select the railings, edit types, take the list replacements, and we can pick the ends as well. No, sorry, corners as well. And once I click OK, you see them in the corners as well. So we have totally customized balusters, post balusters ready in the families, and they are parametric. So any chance if I want to change the thickness, maybe I want that 100 mm, I can do that hundreds, and even the offsets can be changed. Okay, maybe I want that offset as 30. Okay, and the extend height, maybe I want to put that as 200s. Change that extend height as well, so you can see that extend height goes way too bigger. Maybe you want it smaller. Change that height to become as very small as well. So whatever height you want to go for it. Right. So easy. We have created a post family of the ballistas. Right. So similarly, you can try out with these families. Right. You can create many other families as well. Pick the style that you want. If you want these styles, you can use these styles as well, where you can use Revolve options over here to create them. So I'll show you this in the main pattern actually. So we create a main pattern something like this. Okay, and we leave the post as the one we have to try to create. Okay, fine. So I want you to at least make the post families. Try it out. See what happens when you apply these settings. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
try this much. I'll upload this video also so that you can practice through watching this. Okay. And if you have any question, any doubt, you can ask you in tomorrow class, and we'll continue with the main baluster pattern basically. Okay, these center
Sir,
points.
I just had a doubt that also like on the top now you made like a rectangle. So can you make a sphere instead? Like, can
Yes,
we do that in the families?
I'll show you. So you want to make a spherical deleting this element coming in the depth elevation view, right? And let me just make this scale size a little smaller so that it doesn't disturb me a lot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the create tab and going to take revolved instead of extrusion that I took it. Remember, I'm in the left elevation view, not in the plan view. Take the revolve, solid revolve form. And over here, it's going to tell me that, okay, if you're going to use solid revolve form, you need to pick a plane on which plane you're going to work basically there. So I can take the center left plane basically there. So I'm going to pick the center plane, but the left and the right one. Okay, and then I'm going to click on OK. So now I can, draw the axis line first. So this would be my axis line, which you can lock it after it's been created. So this blue line, you can see that's coming in center lines. This is your axis line. Once the axis line has been drawn, now we can draw the boundary lines, means the shape of that sphere basically. Okay, so you can create a line maybe from this particularly point from here to here, 30 mm basically. Okay, and then I can take the arc tool basically that's starting from that end point. So all the way till here. Okay, so you can adjust this shape. Okay, it should be a closed shape, so I'm going to close it. This shape like that. So profile needs to be closed. So we have a closed profiled. I'm going to hit on the finish mode. Really perfect shape, but you can try once again a bit to make it more artish. Okay, reduce this down a little bit more. So you can get a spherical shape instead of square shape, and you can you can select that, and you can also apply the material.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, try in the project and see how does it looks. Override it, and it has changed basically. Okay, once again, I'll just make sure that real the post option is being enabled because I just override it. And if I switch this mode to realistic, you will see the real material in the project as well. And looks good. Okay, yeah. So try these kind of shapes. You can go on the internet, look up for some reference images, try to create a similar post basically that apply and see in your project file or in your project basically there and see how does it works.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So see you guys tomorrow at same time 4 o'clock. Okay. Just kindly wait for 5-10 minutes because like I need to you know, end that previous class and then I need to start video. So like might be a little bit 5-10 minutes delayed. Okay, so we'll start exactly by 4:50.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, sir. Bye.